Hi, I'm Greg, and this is iGreg Reviews. And on today's review and unboxing, it is going to be discussing and opening the album The Seeds of Love by Tears for Fears. This is the 5-disc super deluxe edition. I ordered it at the beginning of the year, and they've only just been delivered, which is pretty much on time, which, considering current events, is quite impressive. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. It says on the back you get the original album. You also get the 45s and the B-sides. You also get the radio edits and the early mixes. You also get the demos, diversions, and jams. And then the final disc, you get a 5.1 mix, a 2015 remaster by Andrew Walter, and you also get the original 1989 master by Bob Ludwig. So I'd be very curious to hear that because, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of new master stuff. I just think making his stuff louder just gets rid of the dynamic range. Whereas if I want it louder, I can just turn it up on my hi-fi. So that is what we're going to be looking at today. So I'm going to dig out a knife and I'm going to open this and I'm going to show you and give you my thoughts. You also get a 36-page booklet containing new interviews with Roland and Kurt and others about the making of this album. I'm a massive fan of this album. I've used this as a production inspiration pretty much most of my professional career. So the track Sowing the Seeds of Love is definitely within my top 5 records of all time. So it was, it's quite a big deal kind of getting this with all the extras. So it goes to show that if you are an artist and you are making music, keep all your demos, keep all your diversions, keep all your jams, because at some point, if you get well known within the public eye, there will be super fans like me who will buy this stuff. And this was, if my memory serves me correctly, £55, which is probably about $67. So yeah, in this day and age, when you can access this for free on Spotify or YouTube, spending nearly $70 on a CD, it's quite an investment. So let's check it out. So here we go, Tears for Fears unboxing. Annoyingly, they put the whatever is in the box, they put a sticker right here, which is obviously going to be removed when I take the cellophane off. So I've got a knife, and let's basically take this off. And yeah, unfortunately, it is on. Can we take that off? Oh, yeah, we can. But the question is, do I want to stick that on? We'll put that there for the moment. So, I'm meaning to take it off that slowly. So there is our booklet. Oh, this is pretty. So just gotta get these centered. So I have a nice original booklet with a lot of information, writing sessions, all the original photos. I mean, this is an album that broke the band. Kurt left not long after this album because it was just such a lengthy process. This record cost over £1 million to make when they were signed to Virgin. And so, yeah, this was a big deal. And I mean, this is £1 million, not now. This is £1 million in 1989. So, yeah, it broke the band. Because after that, Roland did Elemental in 93, and then Raoul and the Kings of Spain, which I think came out in 95 or 96. So you got lyrics and stuff there. So that's nice. That is something that I'm really wanting to look at because I'm just interested in knowing the recording process just from my own, just curiosity, being a record producer myself. So I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's nice and glossy. Again, more photos, Alita Adams, and other people and stuff. So again, it's very glossy, very nice. And now we get to, so they've kind of labeled them. So this one's called The Rain. Nice digipack. The CD, is there? No, there's no more individual booklet. So this is the mixes. So this has the 5.1 mix. It has the original master and stuff like that. So there's that one. We have another one here. So this is the Moon. So again, this is the instrumentals and other stuff like that. So there's that one. You have the Wind, which are the demos and the jams and stuff. Some jams there by the look of it at Townhouse Studios. I'm not even sure if Townhouse Studios exist anymore. So this album was produced by the band themselves and also David Bascombe. I hope I pronounced that right. So then this is the 7-inch version. And then here, oh, is that just the bottom? No, that's, and this must be the album in its entirety. So it's going to be nice to hear this stuff in CD format. So 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. The surround sound, which will hopefully be a DVD audio. So the only thing is, how many people these days actually still have a 5.1 system? I've only got like a Yamaha soundbar and a Tannoy sub. So we'll see. We'll see how good job it does to actually put it into a surround sound environment. But yep, it's all, it's really well packaged. I really like the presentation and lots to look at. So, what are your thoughts? There you have it. That was my unboxing of the deluxe super edition of Tears for Fears, the Seeds of Love album. I'm going to go have a listen and check out some of the additional content that's within this. And I will finish my review with my final thoughts on the additional content and whether I thought it was value for money. There's usually like with a lot of these bands, you hear the B-sides and you hear the stuff that didn't make the record, and there's usually a very good reason why that didn't make the record, because it's usually not that good. So hopefully this will be different, and there'll be lots of really interesting, insightful information. So hopefully it'll be a bit like Peter Gabriel's So DNA album, where you really kind of got to hear some of the creative writing process in songs such as Sledgehammer and others, Big Time and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll come back to Sowing the Seeds of Love, the album, 5-disc super deluxe edition, shortly. So first of all, yes, it sounds great. The booklet and the additional odds and ends are really interesting if you are interested in learning about the process of an album that cost a considerable large amount of money to make, and also pretty much kind of tore the band up. Not that that in itself was a good thing, but in terms of just seeing the creative process and then realizing really how clever and how good they were as a band. I mean, I didn't realize, but Roland was 29 when they did this album, and you're kind of going, it is enough to make you kind of feel really sick, because you're like, I'm 50% older than that now, and I'm like, I wish I was as talented as they were then. and also their ambition. You certainly do see another side, and you see all the process in terms of how the songs were written. So, first of all, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 for its packaging and the display and the presentation of the items within the box set. Music wise, yes, I did feel there was certainly some stuff that you felt was repeated a bit, but then again, it is a box set of basically an album that only had 8 songs on it anyway. So, of course, there's going to be a certain level of repetition. But hearing the overtures and hearing the different mixes and the different processes and stuff like that, from my perspective as a producer, it was really, really interesting to see the insight of really what's going through people's creative process. Something that I didn't know is that a lot of studios actually will use Sowing the Seeds of Love as an album, as a single, to actually test in a speaker system within a controlled environment. So that was quite interesting. I presume, and from reading it, it's just because it covers so much sonic background from vocals, strings, vocoders, synthesizers, Hammond organs, trumpets, female vocals, the work. So, I can understand why that now is used more and in terms of testing monitoring systems within studios. So the surround sound mixes, now I will be honest and say that I don't have a 5.1. Before I do that, I better give it a score in terms of the quality of the content within it. So yes, again, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 because there's some really, really interesting stuff in there. As I said, you did feel they were like really kind of, they'd exhausted everything in terms of being able to put this. So there was a bit of repetition, but again, as I've already said, there was only 8 songs on the album, so there's only so far you can go. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 for that one. So finally on to the surround sound mixes. So as I mentioned in the first part of this video, I don't actually have a 5.1 surround sound system anymore. I was just using a Yamaha soundbar with a Tannoy sub. And trying to decipher the difference between 5.1 PCM and 5.1 DTS HD, or I can't remember which one it is. It did take me a while to select the right decoder for my soundbar, and I had to listen to it, and yeah, I probably was expecting more from it than was delivered because it is pretty truthful to its original mix. Something that was written by the guy who mixed it was that he felt that the original album was quite heavy on the reverb, and he backed that off a bit. And you can hear that on the mixes. I was expecting stuff to be here, there, and everywhere, and behind, and in front, and to the sides, and it really didn't deliver that on that. So it just kind of, think of it as just a, not a remixing. And to be fair, the guy who mixed it, Steve Wilson, did actually mention within the notes that he already thought the stereo mix of this album was great in itself, so he didn't want to redo it. And that is evident in his work on this. So I would look at it as a good addition rather than a key factor in buying this box set. But the original masters, you're listening to the Bob Ludwig version, it's nice to actually hear a dynamic range, and then listening to Andrew Walter's remaster that came out 5 years ago, you do see obviously where trends have gone over the years. So for the final disc, being the one with the surround sound mixes and stuff like that, I will give it a 4 out of 5, just because maybe I was expecting a bit too much, but I appreciate Steve's honesty in his explanation for doing it. And to be fair, it does sound really nice. I would like to listen to it on a 5.1 surround sound system, and maybe it would go from a 4 to a 5. So maybe that's not really a fault of Steve's, more a fault of the monitoring environment that I've got. But so an overall score, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 because there's just so much stuff there, and it reminds you how wonderful this album is, in my opinion. I don't think the price for what is given is expensive. I would say to anyone that is a Tears for Fears fan and who wants to find out a bit more about the band should definitely get this. And I do like Roland's comment. Basically, after doing the first two albums, he finally felt like they'd written out an album where they didn't sound like Depeche Mode. So I thought that was quite entertaining, and to be fair, I agree with him. So yes, Seeds of Love Deluxe 5-disc box edition. Go get it. It's if you're a Tears for Fears fan, and enjoy it. But we're about to enter another lockdown, so you've got the time to actually go somewhere quiet and listen to it. I haven't heard it on headphones. I have heard it on a hi-fi. So maybe, find a quiet space, enjoy the album, and let me know your thoughts. So write in the comments beneath, subscribe, smash that button, bell thing, and I look forward to speaking to you next time on my next review. Okay, thanks. Bye.